Hello guys, today I'm going to be quickly showing you how to use my system to drive dogs. Uh, I have a few dogs models on a render kit and I will also make them available on my Patreon soon page. Uh, but yeah, very important. It's not following a path like a regular path in Blender, and it's basically taking this path, which is geometry nodes. Actually, it's a line, right, that contains, you know, some edges. It's a mesh actually that is converted into a line in geometry nodes, right? So you can edit as you want, okay? And it has this smooth along the side, so it's easy for you to play around with and do anything, right? So basically, the dog is walking along this cycle, right? So what is making this dog walking is this guy here, simple like that, right? So you can set this up. It is already set it up from the beginning to the end, so you can extend this guy here to make the dog walk faster or slower. For example, if you reduce this, the dog will walk faster, but it's going to be kind of sliding a little bit. So this amount is a good amount, right? If you want to extend beyond that, you can, for example, if you want to extend to 500, right? You can do that, but the dog will be slow, right? Let me remove this armature so we don't see that. So the dog will be moving slow, right? Because it's taking into account the entire path. The only way you can speed this up is okay, increasing the path until the dog reaches speed that it makes sense. Okay, something like that, right? Notice that you turn around, the body of the dog turn first, which that makes this more realistic, right? That's how dog behaves, right? Let's get back to this here, which is what you're gonna find and then on Blender Kit, right? Let's delete this where this is, this guy, and yeah, so yeah, that's how our dog works. Okay, so there's no secret here. If you render this in your viewport, you will not see the fur of the dog, right? But if you render this here in your camera, you will see, right, the fur of your dog. If you render this out, you will see the fur. Right? The reason is because it was hidden just on viewport for the sake of optimization. Because here you can see in real time the dog walking. It's easier to set up, right? But if you want to see the fur on your viewport, you just select the body and uncheck and hide the fur. So now you can see the fur on your viewport, right? So all dogs are like that. And for now, let's go back to the armature. For now, right, the way the armature is set up now, it's vacant, right? So you will not have anything happening here because these guys has the constraints turn it off, right? To turn the constraints on, I have to go to the body, my body, and enable constraints. And now, if you go here, you can play around. Oops, you can play around, right, with your dog and everything that you want to do that. If you want to do cool stop animation, right? The reason the constraints can not enable like this is because the animation on this guy is baked. You see? So because it's baked, there's no constraint. The constraints is already applied in the animation, right? If you want to do your own animation, you will have to do another action and enable constraints and do your animation from there and bake it because the constraints in Blender they work in your viewport well, but if you hit render, most of the things like the back things that make the bones bouncing will not work. That's why it's the safer approach is baking the animation. That's why this animation came pre-baked, right? If you want to do your own animation, what I'm saying is go to your go to your dog and then enable constraints, and then now you have it the way that you can move your bones easily, right? If you just want the dog to walk, just keep it off, enable constraints, and your dog will be walking. Okay. Another interesting thing is in this path you have for terrain projection. Let me show you what is that. For example, let's add this simple landscape, something like this, right? And maybe your dog want to walk on this landscape, right? So instead of your bring your VSC once one by one, you just go here and select projection. So now your dog is walking on the terrain, right? It's going up and down, right? Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I hope you guys like it. I have some dogs in Blender Keep. Let me show you here which are my dogs. This is my dog. This is my dog. This guy is my dog, right? The golden, this guy. Okay, so right now, none of those has this approach based on geometry nodes, which I consider myself way easier because now if you want, you can take your dog everywhere and it's gonna work easily, right? So I'm replacing the workflow for all my dogs from today, and I will be doing this, right? And I believe it's easier. I believe it's way easier for you to play around with, and in maybe 2 or 3 days, all the dogs will be using the same approach, and the next ones will also be using the same approach. And be aware that all those models, all my models will be soon available on Patreon. It's my Patreon that I'm releasing this week. It's pretty cheap for what you're gonna get there, and you will get my models, and you get my add-ons, you get my generators, everything for just $10 a month. I believe it's something that really will help me to keep going on those models and on my add-ons, on my products. And I have so many things that I've been creating these months because I work 8 hours a day full time, and During my work, I, I produce later work, and after work, I keep going, refining the things that I discovered at work, and then eventually came across with some nice tool that I want to release, but it's really hard for me to release as a product. So it's gonna be on my Patreon. And if you want to join my Patreon, just check the link below. If the link is there already, I don't know. I didn't release yet my Patreon, but I have the link. I'll see. Okay, but that's it. That's how you use the system of my dominance. And I think showing that it's easier for you to understand. But in any case, you have the instructions here as well. Okay. See you guys soon. Bye bye.